All right, guys, welcome back. And today I've been out here cutting grass, and you can see the garden's getting kind of tall. And it's gotten a little hot for cutting grass at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and take some time to install a new camera, security camera here on the front porch that I've been wanting to get around to, and finally got the camera in, and we're going to get it done. So let's go. All right, guys, so as many of you know, I live off in the woods back, county road. A lot of times when we're not at home, it's hard to keep an eye on things. We don't have neighbors, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because there's not anybody to be really looking out for our house while we're not at home. We do have a couple of dogs. One's a German Shepherd, the other one's he's a mutt, but he does a good job of keeping the folks that are up to no good ran off. But I also like to use digital security, such as cameras, motion sensors, driveway alarms, and that type of thing. And so I've got several cameras throughout the house, and recently I upgraded my back doorbell. I had a couple of the cheaper off brands, some of the more popular brands. I didn't like the way they worked. You had to change batteries, that kind of thing. So I got to looking for a camera that would fill the need, and I found it. And so I've been using the one for several months now, and I just swapped over today, and we're going to install the second one. So let me show you. All right, just to give you an idea, I'm a fan of these cameras right here. These are Reolink solar powered cameras that work with solar power and Wi-Fi, and they are awesome. I also use motion sensors such as that little guy right there and things like that to help me secure the property when I'm not around. I get alerts and pop-ups anytime something moves in front of these things. So it's really handy to have all of that. But up at the house, I also like to have cameras. I've got multiple cameras on the outside of the house, and like I said, just for my own security purposes, we're not going to go over all of my countermeasures and my security, but I do have a lot of cameras and sensors and all that around the house. So I'm going to walk around here and show you the doorbell that we've been using for a couple of months now, and my inspiration for today's project. So there's the one that I've been using. That guy has served me well. It does a good job, has a good field of view, and so that was the reason I decided to get me another one. All right, guys, so the proof's in the pudding. And so this is video recorded from the camera here on the back porch, and all I'm doing is using the application on my phone, and I'll show this to you right here. There's literally an app on my phone, and I can hit that record button and record audio and video with it, even if it's not on auto record. So let me go grab some tea, and I'll head back and we'll finish this video. All right, so that's what we're going to be replacing. That's some 20-year-old hardware. It doesn't even light up anymore, so I'm not going to be missing it much. The box is pretty simple, guys. I don't normally show unboxings of stuff because, I mean, surely you can do that. But in this situation, there are some parts in there, and I wanted to take a chance to discuss those with you. So the way that I'm using it, I've already got a power supply and a chime on the wall for my doorbell. But if you don't have one, then that's going to be the little chime right there that plugs into the wall that I just laid down. This is the actual camera slash doorbell button there. You've got some mounting hardware. That's a Cat 5 cable to be used for connecting it if you need to. And then you've got several options as far as powering it. The little power supply right there that I took out of the box right there, that can be used to go ahead and get your Wi-Fi connected and get everything working before you mount it. It's pretty handy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this cable here just so I can set it at the table, and I'm going to plug that thing in and go ahead and get the Wi-Fi working the way that it needs to be before I go out on the porch doing it in the hot sun. It's just easier to do it inside. There's the mounting brackets right there. Also, you've got little short pigtails that you will use to connect the existing doorbell wiring to the doorbell itself. These little brackets right here, I will say They were a little confusing to me to start with, but it's basically just an angle. So depending on which side of the door your doorbell is on, you can flip it one way or the other to kind of give it that lean, to kind of aim it towards the opening of the door. So once you put that piece in position, the other piece just kind of snaps to it. But here's the little power source, and you can see the pigtail laying there. I'm going to be using all of these pieces to go ahead and get mine connected and get it connected to the Wi-Fi before moving forward and getting it on the wall. So that's what I'm doing now. All right, so you can see right there, I've got the little AC adapter, and then I've got it connected to these little wires here. Those are the ones that I'm going to screw into the back of the doorbell / camera to do my configuration. Make sure everything's working before I go to mounting it on the wall, because, you know, 2 reasons. If it doesn't work, of course, I may need to send it back, which I highly doubt. I've had really good luck with this company. I've never had any defective products right out of the box. But, you know, reason number 2 is it's a lot cooler in the house than it is on the porch out there. So getting all that plugged in, and we're going to have to connect that to the doorbell now. Those 2 wires right there. And this is DC current. Depending on your doorbell chime, it could be a 12 volt or 24 volt. It doesn't really matter. They've designed this camera to work on either. But as always, guys, use the instructions that come with it. The app, once you download the app and put it on your phone, it actually has like a little step-by-step instruction on how to go about doing this. But to set it up, I'm just going to back off on these 2 little screws right here and literally take those little spades, put one spade, and like I said, I'm not even concerning myself with which one's the positive, which one's the negative. It's more or less just which one's more convenient. And just going to plug those in there and snug those down enough to where they make a good contact. And once you do that, that's going to energize the doorbell. That's going to provide it with power and enable me to go ahead and set the Wi-Fi and everything up on it. So there you can see that the light's on, the Wi-Fi is, or the camera is working. Now I just got to go through the setup process of getting it connected to the Wi-Fi. All right, so I didn't want to show you the Wi-Fi procedure because, well, I don't want to show you my Wi-Fi passwords and stuff. But this is just going to give you an idea of how easy this thing is to mount. I was going to try to use my impact, but unfortunately the little screws there were too small for my bit. And so I had to go with the old little trusty tiny screwdriver there and take these 2 screws out. Like I said, this thing has been on the house since it was built in 2005. So I guess it's been about 20 years just kind of hanging in there with those 2 screws. Now the really only part here is to just unscrew it from the wall and unscrew the wires from it. Like I said, it does recommend that you turn off the electricity to your doorbell chime or power supply. I did not, because it's 24 volts. Not too concerned about it, but, you know, better safe than sorry. So, you know, do as the instructions say and turn the breaker off to your chime power supply if you're doing this. So now, as you can see, it's taking me a second to make sure I have all my appropriate screws and stuff. But this process is really not bad at all. The biggest thing that I will caution you on is make sure you run the wire through the hole in the middle when you're putting all this together. Don't not run the wire through there and then realize it when you tighten the wire down. That's, you know, it's very unfortunate when that happens. So what I did is I just put one of the other screws back in there temporarily to hold it. Because I didn't want to have to, you know, use the impact and, you know, hold the thing all at the same time. But now I'm coming back and I've got the bigger screws that it shipped with, and I'm just going to use one of those. Now, I will tell you, that was a mistake. You see, I pushed it up against the top of that siding right there. Bad mistake. Leave yourself some room. You're going to need to leave about a 1/4 of an inch gap above this bracket. I wasn't thinking about that. What it is that the device has to clip over the top of the bracket, and then it locks in against it. And I was not thinking about that when I mounted this, and I ended up having to go back once I got everything mounted and just move that bottom screw down a little bit to keep that from becoming an issue, because I couldn't get it put together. So all right, so got that part screwed on there. Now for the little metal bracket. This is the piece that actually snaps into the camera itself, kind of holds it. That bottom plastic piece is more or less just a spacer. Like I said, you can use it to angle the camera and make it face the door so that you can see who's standing in front of the door. And so that's what I'm doing now, is taking these two little small screws. Just got to put them through the metal part into this plastic angled bracket there. And then once I get those in there, the hardware section of this ordeal will be over with, and all I got to do is add the wiring. I was able to use my impact with these little screws here, so that was really handy. But don't go too crazy with the impact, because this is plastic and you will bust it if you're not careful. So we got that in there. Now the only thing left is these two little wires right here. I got to get them connected to the doorbell itself. So that's what we're going to be doing next. All right, so got you a little better view here, a little closer up. You can see how that bracket, the two screws go in the center of that bracket and connect it to that plastic piece. These are the wire nuts that are included with the kit. I'm using that little short pigtail that has the blade connectors on there, the little fork blades. And it's just got like a 2-inch piece of wire, and I'm just twisting those together with the wire nuts. That way I have as little wiring apparatus in this box as possible. You can see there's a little hole, like a void right there, that's just big enough for you to shove those little guys up in there and get them out of the way so that everything goes together clean when you get through the install. I'm going to show you here. You just take and push those up inside that little hole, and then kind of once you get the wires, that was me testing to make sure everything was connected. The doorbell rang, so we do have conductivity to the doorbell. So now, again, it doesn't matter which one goes where, and somebody's big hands in the way with their calluses on their knuckles. So you just connect one wire to one of these screws and one wire to the other. The only real critical thing here is just make sure those two wires aren't touching. There's that little wall between them, but just make sure they're not touching. And then you got that on there, the doorbell, you can see that it's lit up. I'm gonna kind of push those up in that hole, and then this is where I realized I didn't leave myself enough room up top. So I had to go back and fix it. Yep, that's a problem right there. Leave yourself a 1/4 inch. All right, so after a small adjustment, now you can see there's why you got to have that 1/4 inch. Kind of hook in from the top and then just push in at the bottom, and it like you'll literally feel it click and it locks into place. So there you go. With that 1/4 inch added to it, we're able to get everything connected, and guys, it looks clean. There it is right there. Let's test it out now. All right, guys, so the camera apparently is working just like the other one. I can see what's going on here on the phone using the app. Now it's a little darker up here on the front porch, so quality's not going to be as good, but yeah, I think we're going to call that a win, guys. So let's wrap things up. All right, guys, so the job wasn't that hard. It's not difficult to install these things. I do like the fact that this camera works with the app that I use for all the other cameras. It does a really good job. Like I said, it has, using the SD card slot that's in them, it has the ability to keep video for quite a while because it's motion detected. And so that's really handy. And the fact that you can play it back and you don't have to have an online subscription or service or anything like that, that's even better. So that's the reason I like these, is because they're affordable. The initial cost is really the only cost. If you have existing doorbells like I do, then it's a simple enough install. Doesn't require running a lot of wiring or anything like that. This is a minimally invasive procedure. So even like a rental house or something, I think you can get by with it without any problem. So there you have it, guys. I hope the video helps you decide, or maybe upgrade your security, because trust me, in the line of work I've been in for 25 years, security is very important. And you can see, yes, I like my cameras even out here in the shack. So until next time, guys, check those links out down below if you're interested in one of the cameras. I've got some other solutions as well. And if this type of stuff is something that you're interested in and you got questions about, let me know, and I'll be sure to try to do some more. That's the reason that with this channel, I want to do more around the house stuff than shop stuff like I do over on the Clack Shack channel. So there you have it. Till next time, be safe and have a good day.